Hello everyone. This is my The Batman non-spoiler movie review. Now, I was skeptical at first because I do love Batfleck. I love the way Ben Affleck portrayed Batman. But in this movie, to me, it really got down to the character of Batman in this universe. A more grounded, fear-fueled Dark Knight that everyone, including myself, are afraid of. The 3-hour runtime never felt long or drug out. The movie itself and the world that it built felt large to me. It didn't feel long. And to add on to that, it is definitely worth listening to at least a recap of the Batman prequel book that's out, because it'll only expand the world and the experience before watching the movie. We don't end up seeing a lot of Gotham. It's mostly character driven. The main things we know about Gotham are that it is a cesspool that quite literally is always raining and somehow nighttime. And with that said, this Batman definitely doesn't have a good Bruce Wayne persona yet, either around the city of Gotham, because he just does not care about it as much as being Batman. Which is pretty interesting because, at least with the recent years, we've always seen a Bruce Wayne, a billionaire playboy go around and use that to his advantage. But this Batman, while it's not an origin, it's only his second year, and he just doesn't have that tool under his belt yet. I think one of my favorite things about this movie and this portrayal of Batman is the way they really drive home how fear-fueled he is. Because, sure, it's Batman. We know that he likes to go around in the dark and use fear and scare people, but wow, does this movie really drive that home? And you'll immediately see what I'm talking about. And the sounds, especially in this movie, they get just the movement of him in his suit, his footsteps, everything. It's so prominent, and it's on purpose. And it really gives this eerie, creepily feel to the Batman and why you should be scared of him, even if he's not doing anything at all. And that's also what they get down, is that when you just see him standing in any room, even if he's not saying or doing anything, his stance and demeanor, it's just so loud. Whether you're the good or the bad guy, you're gonna want to steer clear of this guy. As for other characters, I honestly felt like there were no small roles. Everyone that was introduced had a place and a purpose for being there. And it really expanded the world for me, knowing their places in society and how it all connected. I just came out of it being so invested in this world that, I thought I knew everything about already. Catwoman, for example, had much more screen time and chemistry with Batman than I would have expected. And I felt like they really nailed their interactions. The same thing goes with Gordon. I felt like his character was so amped up and his relationship was so reasonable, and the way that him and the Batman worked together, it just made sense. You can see why one person needs the other. And as for the Riddler, he does prove to have a place in Batman's rogue gallery. He made me feel uncomfortable every time we saw him, in such a good way that made his character feel like that much more deranged. And yet, throughout the story, you still see him as a grounded individual, and that he's not just doing these things because he's deranged. And that's what they really nailed throughout the whole movie too, is that everyone is grounded. This isn't a world that's going to have, supers flying high above, which maybe one day it could, and that is cool, and having a shared universe is great. But this goes to show, similar with the Joker movie, that you can have a contained story without all these connectivity issues. And which is crazy for me to say because I love where the DCE was going, even though it has had a lot of mistakes. But again, this world is grounded. Everyone is just so fed up in Gotham City. Everyone knows that if you walk around the wrong corner, that's it. And that's why having a Batman makes so much sense, and it really drives home why Bruce Wayne feels the need to do what he's doing. And we don't have to see, his parents get murdered again and again to understand his drive. Like, this city itself just shows what it needs and how he feels like he needs to be the one to do that. At the end of the day, you're going to want to watch this movie and experience it for yourself. It's definitely worth the 3-hour wait time. Like I said, it did not feel stretched out or too long in any way. The movie itself feels large, but not long. And that's exactly what I wanted to feel without knowing it. You're going to love the characters, you're going to love the mystery. You're going to love this new iteration of Batman. And if you don't, that is fine. That is okay. But what do you think? Will you be checking out this movie? If so, let me know what you think because I'd love to hear it. And that's that. See ya.